So I love Christmas time. I love the whole thing. I love the Christmas cookies, the Christmas music, the Christmas lights. I love Christmas. I love everything about it. And as a kid growing up, my mom and dad used to really make Christmas really special for us. So they'd decorate the whole house. We had so many lights on the house, it was ridiculous. And on our Christmas tree, my dad and my brother John would put about 1,000 lights on there. And so it just, I think you could see it from space. It was just amazing. And in today's gospel, when we hear about the shepherds, they're amazed. And they tell everybody in amazement. And so amazement is part of my whole Christmas experience. I love that aspect of Christmas. And in Advent leading up to Christmas, I get more and more in that anticipation and feel it coming to me, feel it warming my heart. My dad was great with Christmas. He was involved in church, and in fact, he used to, we basically decorated the church, our family did. I have 7 brothers and sisters, and my brothers are really tall, so we used to put up the Christmas trees, and we used to hang the lights on the trees because we were so tall. So the trees that we have in here are the small trees in our church. We had like 20-foot trees, and we would use those things that you use to light the candles. We would hook the lights on them and reach as high as we could to decorate. We'd put up garland and lights and the Christmas manger scene, and we had a blast doing that every single year. My dad was also into the stars. He told us about the Christmas star. He would take us outside, we'd lie down in the grass, and we'd look up at the stars. He'd point out the constellations, and we'd watch the meteorite showers. And I just remember lying in the grass, looking up at the sky with my dad, thinking that I could see forever. And I think that's where he got his fascination with the Christmas lights, from the stars up in the sky. My dad, unfortunately, when I was a senior in high school 40 years ago, my dad had an aneurysm and passed away 40 years ago in October. And I remember that Thanksgiving being a bit of a numb blur. I didn't really remember too much about it. But I remember Christmas time, I was thinking to myself, I don't think we should celebrate Christmas. I think Christmas should just be shut down for this year for the Eckert family. But my mom said, no, let's put up the lights, let's put up the tree, and we did. And then we went to church and we decorated the church just like we always do. My heart really wasn't into it, but we hung those lights, we put up the ornaments and the garlands and the Christmas creche. We did all the things that we normally do. And I was in the choir that year, singing up in the choir loft. And I remember looking down, and 2 of my brothers were serving. My family was in this front pew. And there I was up there looking down at this Christmas scene, looking down at the baby Jesus in the manger, looking up with his arms outstretched. And I remember thinking, boy, it looks like he's looking up at our Christmas trees. It looks like he's looking up at those stars. And just for a moment, I was back in my backyard with my dad. And there we were, looking up at the stars. And I realized that I don't just have in my heart the amazement of the shepherds. I also have that quality of pondering, like Mary. I think Christmas is not just about the amazement that God loves us so much that he would come to be with us in the form of a child, but it's about that pondering of how that grace, how that love, how that mercy can somehow overcome loss, can overcome brokenness and pain. How life and love are more powerful than death, more powerful than anything in the world. And while I stood there up in that choir loft singing those songs, looking down at the Christmas manger, my dad was there with me. And the grace of Christmas was with me. And I was able to be amazed, and I was also able to ponder. And I think that's the Christmas mystery. The Christmas mystery is that both those things can be with us at the same time. Celebrating a first Christmas. I see one child in here who's celebrating a first Christmas. Pretty neat. Last night we had about a dozen. And then there's a lot of us who are celebrating first Christmases without someone. We've lost someone. And that poignancy, that tension between amazement and pondering is the Christmas story. It's the Christmas story that somehow gets held together in a tiny baby, in a stable, lying in a manger, with a mother who's pondering in her heart and shepherds filled with amazement. My Christmas wish for all of us who come here this day is that we can hold those two things in our hearts. For all of you who are feeling the amazement of Christmas, God bless, and hold those who are here who are pondering. And for all of you who are pondering, who feel that sense of loss, enjoy the lights in the tree and be amazed at God's love, which is so powerful and so redeeming that not even death on a cross, could extinguish that light. That light shines on in the darkness and it cannot overcome it. So God bless, as you are both amazed in wonder and ponder. God bless and Merry Christmas.